You're listening to the Encore Arts programme, and encore at midlandsradio.fm is the email address if you'd like to get in touch with me at any stage about any arts event that is happening in your area. Sometimes you don't have to go too far away from home to get an interesting arts event that is happening. Shawnee Morris, you're very welcome.
Good evening, Claire. How are you?
Not too bad at all. Nice to see you in at this very unseasonably early hour of the evening.
It's very different, to be on this side of the microphone at this time of the night as well, so...
Tell me, do you often get to sit on this side, the other side of the microphone?
Not often now. I might have the odd interview on Will's show to do with astronomy and things like that, of course, But no, I'm more adept at being on your side, I think.
Well, inept is not the word.
No, adept. I think it's adept, isn't it?
It is. Tell me a little bit about why you are here this evening, because you've done something very special, haven't you?
I have. It's kind of a little notion that I have had brewing for a few years, especially since I became a dad. I've wrote a children's story and I've published it myself. So
tell me a little bit about this children's story, the story behind it,
the story behind it and all.
Illustrations.
Well, thank you very much. Well, the story is called Melvin, the Friendly Bedtime Monster. And since I finished up in my own company, Designamite, at the end of 2014, I decided to go in as a self-publisher, first of all. And I'll take it in baby steps and see how it goes, under the name Green Beanie Books. Now, Melvin, the Friendly Bedtime Monster is a story about Melvin, who is the bedtime monster that all kids always have assumed lives in their bed, in the cupboard or the wardrobe or under the bed and so on like that, and only comes out at night, So my story's background comes from the fact that my son Sam, who's 5 now, when he was 3, he was having nightmares, came in the middle of the night, swore he saw a monster in his room, and he always described it as having black hair, red eyes, yellow teeth, and orange legs. So for 15 nights straight, this monster was terrorizing my son in the middle of the night, interrupting mine and my wife's sleeping pattern, and so on like that. And it wasn't until a couple of months later, Sam and I were doing some colouring at the kitchen table. And he produces this A4 sheet of paper with a sketch of the monster. So I blue-tacked that to the kitchen wall, and I said to myself, if I'm going to do something different, if I'm going to leave Designamite, I'm going to go and do a story with Sam's help, and this is the fruit of that labour.
So tell us what you got to learn about Melvin as you spent all this time with him writing this story.
That's right. Well, the basis was simply to try and create a fun story based around the bedtime monster that kids see and that, but to put him in a playful kind of setting. He is very, very shy. He only comes out when he knows the kids are asleep, plays with their toys. He might move things around, but the odd time a child might wake and they'll catch a glimpse of him or his shadow in the room. And that was the basis of the story that I've created. I've done it as a rhyme as well, so it's very playful. And it's told as a narration. So Melvin is actually telling the story of how he is very, very shy. He doesn't want to scare the little boy or the little girl and always waits till they're asleep, comes out and reads their books or plays with their toys. But also to realise the fact that he's been created out of an imagination. And that's where he'll stay and will linger, hopefully even as the child grows up.
He becomes a very sympathetic character, doesn't he?
He does. He's I wouldn't say regretful, but he is a bit, apologetic with the fact that he does scare the child. But the playful nature, my idea was to have it in that when the child goes to bed, after reading the story perhaps with their parent, is that they're kind of thinking, a little bit, oh God, is Melvin going to come out tonight? And they have the giddiness of wondering if Melvin's going to come out rather than being afraid if Melvin is going to come out.
When I looked at the book last week, what reminded me of, and it brought me right back to those days, and those days lasted far longer than I should respectfully admit to. But I was always a bit of a reader when I was a kid, and I would be awake late at night, to the point where it would get to the time where you really need to go to the bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
But I used to think there were skeletons under the bed, and I would be twisted and tormented and in agony, feeling that if I got out of the bed, something would grab me, bony, would grab me by the ankle, and I'd have to stay in the bed until it got to daylight. And you called him bony? No, something
bony because of the skeleton.
Yeah.
There's an idea for a future story. Thanks, Claire.
But it's a very real fear, isn't it? And I'd say there'll be adults reading that story who will have similar memories to mine.
I've always assumed myself that it's because of the fact around about that age when the human brain is developed. It's not till around between the ages of 2 and 3 that we start having proper dreams, that kids can actually almost have something tangible when they wake up, that they have these images but don't know that it's dreaming. So, at the same token, when reading a story like this, anticipating that the child will inevitably at some stage have a nightmare, that putting a playful slant on it might make them not so fearful in the night.
Tell me about the illustrations, because Melvin is digitally created, but all the other illustrations are hand-drawn.
It is all hand-drawn. My sister-in-law, Anya Morris, who's married to my brother Earl, she's a very accomplished artist, and she helped me. Well, she's done nearly all the work for me under my instruction and did a terrific job. You've seen it yourself, the vibrant colours, the kind of fairy tale bedroom setting that it's in, with painting it as if it came from the mind.
It's like a packet of crayons. It's just beautiful, yeah.
And, Melvin himself, while I've done him digitally myself using Photoshop, he came from an actual painting, but I wanted to keep a consistency with regards to facial expression and things like that. I got Anya to draw the legs for me in fixed poses, and I would use them and morph them according to the scene that I needed and so on like that. So it does blend in perfectly, but it also allows the fact that Melvin has always been seen as a solid shadow, and therefore that's why his solidity is paramount in every scene as what kids would recognise.
And he has that sense that he is different from the world of the children. That's
true. So it kind of sets him apart from the fact that it's obviously children don't understand surrealism, but it does make it stand out that Melvin as they turn the pages, they're spotting him instantly. But he has this playful face, a very young kind of face, playful eyes and things like that.
So tell me what your little small person thinks of Melvin now that Melvin is between the covers of Daddy's book.
Sam loves it. And Lucy, who's 3 in November, she loves it too. So the two of them, I obviously gave them each a personalised copy. They're thrilled to bits with it. Sam loves the pictures. Lucy loves the story and the pictures as well. Sam is thrilled that his idea has come out of this book and it's being sold to kids who are also enjoying it. I've had some very good feedback. And, we'll take it from there as to what he might prompt me with another idea now as a 5-year-old.
And how does it feel from your point of view, being not just a stargazer and a DJ of the highest calibre, it has to be said, with Last Orders, which will be on after Joe Cooney's programme tonight. Did you see that nice link that I did?
I did, thank you.
But you are now a published author.
That's right, a published author. Well, you see, I wanted to try and make my kids not be afraid and have a story that I could give to them that they'll look back with fondness as they grow up. My daddy made this for me. His name is in the story. That's one of the selling points of the story. You can have a standard version or you can have a personalised version. So if bought for the child in your life, that child's name is added to the cover, is dotted throughout the story. So Melvin is talking to the child actively in the story. And with the personalised edition comes a certificate, which is numbered. And that number is also printed on the back cover. So there's an entire uniqueness about it that just tells the child there's no other book like this already. Melvin is yours to keep for as long as you have the book.
And finally, where can people get it?
You can find it on Facebook if you check out facebook.com/greenbeaniebooks.ie. And also, inevitably, the website is there too, where you can also look at it, purchase it online, and even offer some feedback at greenbeaniebooks.ie, www.greenbeaniebooks.ie.
Shani Morris, thank you so much for coming in this evening. You can go back out now into the newsroom, put your feet up, take a little rest for the couple of hours while Joe Cooney is bringing us the very best of Irish country music following the news.
I must tell you, don't forget, it's Thursday night. I'm not on Thursday nights, only Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, Claire. So I get to go home and put my feet up. I don't have to wait here.
This is true. This is true. This is true. So you can put your feet up between now and Monday night.
I tell you what, I'm going to go home now and I'm going to contemplate on the adventures of Boney.
The adventures of Boney. Marvellous. Listen, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Claire.
So Joe Cooney is up after the news here, and I'll be back in this seat again next week. And in the meantime, we're going to play out with the final track on the album From Cua. And I think this gives a really strong sense of the kind of stuff...